Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thanks for tuning in again for another weekly update on news and information about DCS World. I'm your host, of course, Prickly Hedgehog. I hope this new video for this week finds you well and enjoying your virtual pilot experience in DCS World. We've got some cool stuff to talk about this week, including rumors, actually, about a Deka Ironworks aircraft for refor. A new campaign by Reflected Simulations has been delivered to Eagle Dynamics for their approval, so stay tuned about that. And we're going to delve into a lot of stuff to do with, well, the Mariana Islands as well. ED is really getting close to submitting this, I think, based on the internal testing that they're having, which is looking promising. So let's begin with some housekeeping stuff. It begins, actually, it's good news for virtual reality peeps, because I know a lot of you have been frustrated with the new clouds. ED is aware, apparently, of some jittering and stuttering, if you like, of the clouds with the VR hardware, and they are working to eliminate this and continue to optimize the frame rates for that technology. And I know a lot of you were complaining, you VR guys and girls, that the clouds have been less than impressive based on your experiences with that particular hardware. Not everyone, of course, has been saying that, but there were some grumblings about the fact that it's not looking quite as good, and some people are actually not bothering to use their VR headsets and were preferring to enjoy going back to a 2D interface, if you like, to experience them. So good news, ED's aware of it. Hopefully they can get it rectified so you guys can enjoy the full fidelity kind of experience of being immersed in the clouds, and I'm sure it would be a fantastic experience. It's not a technology I have right now, but maybe one of these days, although my wife is she's not keen on me producing that. We fight enough about the fact that I'm immersed with my headphones on, and occasionally she likes to make me jump when she creeps up on me while I'm focusing. Who'd have thunk it? All right, so let's talk about the Marianas Islands, but another piece of housekeeping as well. The update this week was small in terms of overall size, but not small in terms of the number of fixes and things that Eagle Dynamics have squashed this week. Huge update, I noticed, to the C-101. So if you're a virtual squadron that uses that aircraft, that might be something to look at. A lot of virtual squadrons do train people in the two-seater aircraft that we have, and that is the C-101 and also the L-39. Although I kind of wonder, or speculated, we were talking about this, a couple of us this week, wondering if one of the reasons the C-101 received so much in the way of updates is because of this T-45C that has come out as a free module. And it's a good little aircraft, and it has a lot of promise as a trainer, especially because of the fact that it can be used on the carrier. And I know there's a lot of virtual squadrons that are carrier-based and are looking for a two-seater trainer to specifically be able to help train with that particular recovery aspect of flight missions. Then that T-45 is a real bonus. It saves a lot of headaches. So I think that's maybe, it could be a reason why the C-101 has received some love, but that's just speculation at this time. Anyway, the highlights for some of the big fixes this week include things like the MiG-21 crash in the avionics.dll file that caused a crash on air start. That's been fixed. The F-14AB apparently was crashing when pulling map marker if you're using Jester. That's been rectified. The AJS-37 map marker crash fixed. Warehouses on airfields in old missions were corrupted, and that occurred after the last update, so that's been fixed. The JF-17 collision model, which solved an FPS issue on the ground in Syria, that's been updated. And while we're mentioning Syria here, what a fantastic map. I'm really interested to see how, when they include Cyprus in there, because I think if you were paying attention, you would have noticed that WAG's produced a couple of videos this week that featured the Cyprus map, and there was a little bit of a reference there to the Hercules as well. Somebody, I think at least one sharp-eyed wag recognized that perhaps the C-130 might be the next aircraft in the game, although Eagle Dynamics has specifically said, if I recall rightly, that they are not interested in producing large aircraft that are player flyable. But it was a nice little nod to that particular aircraft, so maybe it's an AI mod that they've done some work on. We'll have to figure out. But anyway, the Syria map is looking really good really, really good right now, and I'm looking forward to seeing, further development in it from Ugra Media. Lastly, last two things here. MP Storm of War for the multiplayer server stability issues, that's been fixed. And lastly here, the AIM 120s for the F-16. If they were on the wingtip and you fired them off, apparently they were causing damage on launch, and that's been rectified. I wasn't aware of that anyway. Alright, so let's turn to the eye candy that is the Mariana Islands. And according to Eagle Dynamics, they're actually working right now on a new ATC system. It's currently in development. That's going to be included as part of this Mariana Islands airfields, or at least that's what it sounds like it will be. And internal testing of the map is going well. They're working further to improve the ground textures and address road network anomalies. They're working also to improve the ports and shorelines. That's continuing, and the goal is to create the best looking DCS map yet by using our latest terrain development kit tools, and that's exciting stuff. I actually am hoping maybe after the development of this map we will see some love given back to the Caucasus, because I think the Caucasus is a really pretty map. Perhaps not as it looks right now, but certainly it has the potential for being a really attractive map, and it is the oldest map that they have, I think, and it clearly is showing its age in terms of the work that's gone in there. Not that the work was rubbish or garbage, it's just that the game has evolved so much. They've done a lot of work through some of these newer maps that are a lot prettier, and I think that map does need some love. So it'll be interesting to see, perhaps after the development of this, if they go back and redo some stuff on that, because it really needs it. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to the Marianas. So they've also got here work has been done on the US naval base in Guam, and this Guam base holds a massive amount of post-war resources and war material. In the late 1940s, the Seabees actually constructed or developed the land, and it became the primary docking and storage facility of the Guam-based US Navy fleet, and it remained under construction for the next 25 years, which is it's quite a long build time. Ordnance Annex, the naval magazine for the U.S. naval base, is situated in the south central section of the island. It occupies almost 9,000 acres, and it includes an entirely man-made reservoir, as well as also the central heating and water distribution plants for the U.S. naval base. So pretty impressive structures there. Now, the Northwest Field, this field became a fighter base in October of 1946, and it was home to the reactivated Flying Tigers fighter squadron. They were equipped with P-47 Thunderbolts, and it was assigned the responsibility of defending the Mariana Islands. Weapon stores and bunkers were built between Northwest Field and North Field, and these facilities were used to support the long-range and intense strategic bombing campaign against the Japanese during the Second World War. Alright, Anderson Air Force Base, or AAFB. On the 7th of October 1949, Northfield was renamed after Brigadier General James Roy Anderson, and it remains one of the largest and most important U.S. air bases in the Pacific. It had a direct supply line from the United States and was considered ideal for B-52 Stratofortress operations. Anderson Air Force Base now supports operations in the Indo-Pacific Theater. During 1944, the 318th was equipped with Republic P-47D Thunderbolts for the Marianas campaign, and working closely with the Marine Corps, ground forces. The bolts pioneered close air support and were the first to use napalm, nasty stuff that is, and P-47 pilots frequently carried two 500-pound bombs and used to skip bombing against railroad tunnels to destroy enemy trains and stores inside those tunnels, which is kind of cool. Now, Eagle Dynamics is saying that they hope that this broad insight into Guam will be interesting, and they look forward to sharing more information on the World War II version of the Marianas Islands in the near future. So it sounds like we are going to get two versions, the modern one, which we've kind of been talking about here, and also this World War II version or variation on those, I guess, of some kind, but we'll have to wait and see. It's exciting stuff. If it comes to fruition as Eagle Dynamics intends, then we're going to have some really interesting and cool maps to fly on that are going to add to our immersive and realism feeling, and also give us some new theaters of or areas to conduct combat operations, which is going to be fun. So stay tuned. That and the Falklands, I'm really looking forward to seeing those two maps in the game, so stay tuned. Alright, as I mentioned, new campaign has been thrown to Eagle Dynamics to look at and review. This is by Reflected Simulations and Greg Gale, who heads that little company up. And he's been working on the campaign for a year and a half, and he's called it the Fear the Bones campaign. It's a story-driven campaign for the F-14. And like I said, he's been working on it for about a year and a half, and it's been submitted to ED for review. It's his next campaign. He's hoping it will be released sometime in the upcoming months. And yeah, it should be a popular campaign. Obviously, a lot of people enjoy the F-14. Not everybody does. I recognize that. It's a great airplane. It is a challenge to fly. It's big, it's brutal, it's visceral and raw, but it's quite the handful and can be quite the challenge to fly. You don't have all the avionics stuff that you have with the F-18, which is, a little bit easier to fly, but it does have a more comprehensive, avionics arsenal, if you like, and it's a little bit more complex in terms of its avionics suites. Nevertheless, the F-14 has a lot of charm if you enjoy that two-seater variant, if you like, or that kind of play. But yeah, so well done him. Reflected Sims has done some cool stuff lately, and if you want to see some of what he's got going on, check out Tactical Pascal's channel as well right now. He's been throwing up videos of one of the campaigns. I think it's the Wolfpack campaign with the P-47D that we just talked about, and he's been having a blast flying that World War II beast around and getting into some shenanigans with this campaign from Reflected Simulations. So really, really cool. Well, let's wrap up this week's video with the rumors that this Su-30MKK is being skunked worked, if you like, by Deka Ironworks. No official statements yet that I'm aware of that confirm this. Apparently there was some sort of Reddit comment about this aircraft being worked on, and it sounds like they had just done some basic well, I shouldn't say basic, but they've done some flight modeling stuff on it, and I saw the rumor through the Stormbirds blog, and of course, if it's true, well, it's immensely exciting, I think, because we are lacking full fidelity aircraft on the refor side. We do have some nice clickable ones, like the Su-27 in particular, the flanker there, which is... It's a nice aircraft. It's a visceral-looking aircraft, and would be a nice Red 4 counter, if you like, or rival to the F-16 in terms of, not that it was necessarily created for that, but it would be a nice aircraft to have. We're still waiting, of course, for probably its closest rival, which is the F-15 from Razbam, or at least the Mudhen. But either way, we don't have, and bottom line is we don't have all that many Red 4 clickable cockpits. Now, we were aware that Eagle Dynamics was either working on or kicking around working on the MiG-29, a variant of that, which is needed. So if those two aircraft are inserted in the game, it would be a huge bonus for Red 4 players or people that are interested in Red 4 aircraft. Unfortunately, it's just the nature of secrecy and some of the systems that we have on this aircraft, that there are restrictions on how much you can recreate and what data is available to you. So yeah, sadly it's a gap that we have right now, but hopefully in the near future that can be rectified. So so that's all we know. It's really scant information, unfortunately, and again, I don't know if it's true or whether or not there's any substance to that rumor. But of course, if Deka Ironworks wants to talk about it, we're all ears over here. Certainly happy to talk about it with you, or if you want to confirm it, feel free to put a comment in the post below. Yeah, you get where I'm going with that. All right, well, yeah, this is Prickly Hedgehog, I think, out for another week. I just want to say thanks to all the subscribers And don't forget to subscribe. We're very close to 5,000 subscribers right now. I'd like to grow the channel a little bit more and keep that rolling on. It costs nothing, but boy, does it help the channel chug along. I know I've said this in the past. I am working on some stuff with the Air Warfare group, of course, and Juice, and a couple of the other peeps in that channel. And where time permits, you may see some more cooperation. We are very tentatively working on some things, and hopefully we can get some interesting stuff out your way that will be of value to the community. I have great respect for those guys because they've taught me a lot over the last few weeks, and I'm continuing to learn, and my flying is improving as a result of that. It's real hard to fly when you manage a YouTube channel and you've got other things and commitments that you have to stay with because of the amount of work that takes. But it's nice to get in some flying with some other people in a multiplayer kind of environment. You learn so much more, and it's a lot more realistic. So again, the snippets of flying that I've had this week have been immensely valuable, and I've really enjoyed it. And again, I hope to expand that. Hopefully we can do some more flying, get people join into the community that we have, and do some cool stuff. The way that can happen is, like I said, you guys click that like and subscribe button, comment below, let us know what your thoughts are. I poked up a kind of plain man's tutorial the other day on how to refuel in the F-18. It was not exhaustive on the topic. It was, like I said, a plain pilot's guide to that. A lot of stuff was skipped. It was just a way of showing, some basic skills to get to do that effectively. And it wasn't meant to be a perfect example. It just showed you how you can kind of screw it up if you're focused on the wrong things. So that was the purpose of that tutorial. Let me know what you think about that, whether or not you enjoyed that. If you want to see more tutorials, keep those comments rolling, because it gives me impetus to do it. If nobody says anything, then I'm like, well, if nobody wants it, there's no point in doing it, if that makes any sense. So I need that feedback from you, and I'll continue to throw up some surveys too, gathering more information from the community about what kinds of things you want to see. We have some really awesome people in the community. We have some great videos. We have some good dialogue with Eagle Dynamics as well. And I want to continue that, and I want to get community feedback on stuff that you want to see that other people may already be covering, some of the big topics, if you like, or the more complicated topics with regards to blowing stuff up and using, laser guided bombs and other bits and pieces. But there's a lot of you out there that are looking for other forms of tutorials on how to do, I guess, air person ship type stuff. And let me know what kinds of things you'd like to see. If you're struggling with something and you want to know how to do that better, then post below and give me some feedback, give the community some feedback, so that we can target and help people along. Because I know it's real hard when you fly solo. You're not really getting a true feel for how difficult it is to fly in formation, and it's harder to learn how to do some stuff in the game, like air-to-air refueling or landing on the carrier, for example, without some good tutorials out there to help you how to do that and to show you where things are going wrong. You learn a lot when you fly with somebody else and you recognize what you're doing wrong, because you kind of struggle through it when you're a solo player, but you're not really learning how to do it properly, and you could be just learning bad habits that are not going to help you with your flying and make things a lot better. It makes so much more sense when somebody explains why you're doing one thing, which you may just be guessing at when you're a solo player. So I hope that makes sense. All right, let's wrap it up there. Once again, thanks everybody. Keep the likes and subscribes going. Don't forget to comment, and I will see you around. This is Prickly Hedgehog out for another week. Take care now.